Hello YouTube, it is Champion DJK coming at you again with another video, and today I've got a good old-fashioned REOK. Well, maybe it's not so random. Maybe it's just an act of kindness. It's my buddy Jay. On Instagram is at JCreamFan. I'll probably put that in the title of this video. But anywho and how, he's a real nice guy, and we've got to become friends over the time. Been a fan of the channel for a long time. He buys a ton of cool diecast. He buys some weird stuff too that, you know, he's got some questionable taste compared to mine. Just kidding, Jay. But good dude, and he just recently went to Singapore, bought a bunch of stuff. Posted that all to his Instagram, showing pictures of diecast stores in Singapore, and oh my goodness, are they spoiled over there with the amount of stuff that they can get, amount of stores that have diecast. It's insane. Anyway, he brought some stuff back, and none of this like is stuff you can't get over here, but it's stuff that he came back. Some of it he discovered that he had doubles of, and some of it was a gift to me, but anyway, he ended up giving all this stuff to me, and we're going to check it out kind of one by one. So we got kind of a little a smattering of diecast goodies here, and some very cool stuff. So first of all, we got a Tomica Premium. This is a Ferrari F355. This is a red box one. These ones are a little bit more difficult to get than the standard black box Tomica Premiums. And this is the F355 in yellow. So the cool thing about this little video we're doing here is we get to take a look at a couple of different brands and kind of talk about the differences and stuff. And that's always fun to do. So this is your Tomica Premium, so not a Tomica Limited Vintage. These are more of a basic, but not quite basic Tomica. There is a basic Tomica. That's like a mainline Hot Wheel almost. This is the premium line of Tomica, and it's actually in 1/62 scale, so they do not hold it to strict 1/64 scale, so some of you will be turned off by that. It does have suspension. It's got a plastic base, and it has plastic wheels. Sometimes these will have opening features. This particular model does not. I was kind of digging my fingernail in here just to see if the back opens. It does not. But pretty neat. They roll. They've got pretty good details on them. Some of them, when they actually have headlights that aren't pop-ups like this, they're lensed. And some of the ones that have pop-up headlights actually have headlights that pop up, which is super cool. But this one's pretty basic, but a cool looking model, and quite like it. I've got the one in red, and now I've got this one in yellow. So that is pretty nifty to add to the collection. So thank you, Jay, very much. We'll set it right about there and move on to the next thing. We got a couple Sparky models. I've been really loving Sparky lately. I've already shown you guys this one. I've shown this one on a video, but mine is actually messed up. The version of this that I have, so this is a Sparky Porsche 911 GT1 Evo number 76, a very cool model. The one that I have is missing the whole taillight assembly. So now I've got one that's actually got the rear end on it with taillights. That's pretty cool. So stoked about that one. Thank you very much, Jay. This is such a cool model. This is a very cool casting from Sparky. Dare I say, actually definitely, I will say, it is my favorite Sparky casting, is this Porsche 911 GT stuff. They have the GT1, the Porsche 911 GT. They're slightly different castings, and they make it in a couple different racing liveries. There's a couple I'm missing. I need the mobile ones. There's like a mobile 2-pack of them. I need to grab that. But these are just done so well. Kind of like mini GT quality. Very nicely done. Metal base, metal body, rubber tires. It rolls. The graphics are like very sharp, done very well. They're like printed on. They're not decals or anything like that. And they're not like a wrap situation like you get with like premium Hot Wheels. So they're very sharp and done very, very nicely. So I am definitely stoked to get a actual pristine version of this car. So thanks again, Jay, for that. And then we've got the Porsche Dower 962 in Le Mans Magny Cours test number 35. I don't know what all that means exactly. I do have two other versions of this casting. I've got one in black and one in red. This apparently is some test car, which the Dower, this is actually a road car, not a race car, which is just absolutely insane. And this race car, or road car rather, sorry, was the fastest road car ever for a long time until the Bugatti Veyron took it over. So that's an interesting little history on this Porsche. Pretty cool model, pretty wild looking graphic. This one is like a some sort of wrap over it, which is basically what you would have to do with this type of graphic. But still very sharp, pretty nicely done. Metal on metal again, and it rolls pretty well. Looking pretty good, screwed together. I almost thought that was plastic for a second, but it is definitely metal. And this thing is definitely heavy. So very cool to get this. Now I've got this one. I think I've got all the releases so far that they put out of this. Well, maybe I don't. I don't know. I'll have to look. But I've got quite a few. Well, not quite a few. I've got 3. Whatever. I got the 3 different versions, and it recently came out. So I don't know what I'm talking about. But yeah, I've got them. Very neat. All right. So those are our 2 Sparky models. Sparky's become almost one of my favorite brands now. I mean, I really like them. They don't come out with a ton of stuff like all the time, and they're kind of expensive. They're more expensive than like a mini GT. So I don't get them as often, but very cool and usually very satisfied with them when I do purchase them. Here is Hobby 64 Tarmac Works. This is a Ferrari 488 GTE 24-hour Le Mans 2023. So an IXO Tarmac Works. I've got a couple versions of this particular casting, this 488. And now I've added another to the collection, which is great. Really cool car. Tarmac Works, they like to number their limited releases, but it doesn't tell you what the number is out of. That's kind of sad. I wish they would tell you how many were actually produced. I think that would make the serial number on yours or mine or whatever more interesting, don't you think? We're just going to peel these right off because these get annoying. Oh, maybe we won't. Let's go ahead and pop this acrylic case, which is looking pretty nice. Let's go ahead and do that. Get that out of there. And let's unscrew it from the base. So this one I don't think rolls, but it might. I can't remember if these roll or not. I've got a couple of them in my collection. They've released quite a few of these particular castings, so yeah, this ain't gonna really be a roller. Oop, I almost put my finger and broke that right off. You got to be careful. This one's got little tiny parts. There's the antenna there. There's a little tow hook right there, a tiny thing. Okay, so you got to be really careful where you're touching on this thing, or you will break something off. So very detailed. Extremely detailed. These are decals, it looks like, that are clear coated over. Done pretty well, though. I don't see any weirdness with it. Pretty nice. Very detailed. And it's an actual race car, which is super cool. So I definitely dig this. Very, very cool. So again, you just need to be very, very careful with it because it is quite fragile. All right, next is a Para 64. Now, Para 64, I just opened a Par 64 in a recent video, and I kind of ripped it to shreds. I liked the casting itself. I did not like how the graphics were applied, and my particular model was exceptionally sloppy, and I did not appreciate that whatsoever, because Par 64 actually is not very inexpensive. They're not cheap. Okay, so with them not being cheap and inexpensive, you expect them to be a little bit more premium than what I got on the last one. I don't know how this is going to be, but we're going to open it up and check it out, which it was disappointing because I generally like Par 64 stuff. So we'll open it up. Packaging looks cool right there. Porsche licensing. So yes, they do properly license everything, which is great. They do have the stickers on the side here. And I do respect the fact that Par 64, you could be considered as kind of like an underdog in the diecast world. They're not really they're not a big company. They run pretty lean, and you know, therefore they don't have as much resources as you would with a larger, you know, diecast company like Mini GT or, you know, even Tarmac Works, stuff like that. So the fact that they do everything right and license everything is great. And yeah, it looks like this is all decaled. My problem with the decals, they just don't quite pull them off quite as well as some other. Woo! Par is attacking my Sparky. Let's just put this aside here for a second and take a look at this casting. Does it roll? No. Kind of wants to roll. It's got a big flat spot in the tire. Big tires. So, and yes, this camera is not forgiving. We're looking very much up close. So I really wanted to buy this car too, and I didn't, and then ended up getting it from my buddy, of course, which I am thankful for the gift. But just to take a look at some of the decal sloppiness on this thing, this right here is decal. It looks like that's like not like it's just not settled down all the way. See, I can push it. It's like a bubble underneath the decal, and then you've got a lot of orange peel in here, which just does not look all that great. It's almost like they just didn't get the decals down enough, and then the clear coat over the top is very, very thin, and I don't know. I think they could do a little better. So it's going to be hard to really spend a bunch of money on Par. I mean, when you buy regular like stock cars that are not, you know, cars that are stock civilian, whatever, cars that are just regular cars, not race cars, right? Normal road cars. You're not going to have really this problem with decals because they don't really use those for that. They don't really have much to use them. It's just a, you know, standard car with headlights and taillights and all that good stuff, and you don't really need to worry about decals being weird or lifted or anything goofy like you do with the race cars, which is unfortunate because the race cars are the ones I really get excited about, right? So still a very cool looking car. I mean, you look at it from here, it looks great. It's just when you get up close like this, and I know this is closer than you will ever probably naturally look at the car, you know, it's got some issues, right? This headlight too is a little bit over the edge and whatnot, but still glad I have it. I still think it's pretty cool, and yeah, pretty nice. All right, lastly, we've got the largest 1/64 scale die-cast package I think I've ever had, and that is this Ferrari GT 1/64 limited edition Asia edition by Centauria and IXO collectors. So this should be licensed. I believe it is going to be. I'm going to move some stuff out of the way here so we can make some room for this guy. So it's big, like massive. That is a massive amount of cardboard for one car. We have to unwrap it to start with, so we'll cut the cellophane here and peel it away. It's pretty interesting to get another Daytona SP3. I've never owned this car in diecast, and now I've got 3 different brands. We got an IXO, I've got a Mini GT. Oh, we do get something here. An IXO, a Mini GT, and Braga, which I've got those next to me so we can take a look at them. Let's take a look at this, whatever this is. This is some sort of magazine-ish thing. Precision Italian School, the Ferrari Daytona SP3, cutting-edge technology. Well, this is pretty cool. So it's got some actual data and story about the real car, which obviously we're not going to be able to get into really here, but pretty awesome details and whatnot about the car. Actually, quite a few pages, or not quite a few. And then it goes over. Oh, the next issue of this magazine is the Monza SP2, which I think I want to get. I think I will want to get the P5, the dream concept car. So that's what this car goes off of. So it's kind of a Ferrari, almost like magazine, which is pretty neat, which is why they had to put it in this large packaging. But I think this is just a box. I don't think there's anything else in here, but I'm just going to look just in case. And there is nothing else in there. Can we slide the casting out of the box this way? Or do we actually have to get in here? Can I pull this out? Nope, can't pull it out. So we have to get complicated. And this is such an awkward position for me to be in, so... because I can't... Hang on, I gotta pull it off camera. Oh, weird. So this is actually like not an acrylic case, it appears. It's like blistered in here. Hold up. Very odd. Okay, so you pull this out. So this is what I just pulled out of the box. It actually comes out this way. This is very weird. Okay, like that. And now we have a blister pack that we actually have to rip open to get to the car. I don't think I like this, that you have to do this. I wish they would have just put the acrylic case in it, because I'm going to ruin this packaging pulling the car out. So we'll try to rip it without doing too much damage so I can kind of still save that, put the package back together. But here is our acrylic case behind that Ferrari official product there. Open the acrylic case up. And we need to unscrew the car. So it's actually screwed to the base. Screws in there pretty tight. Lots of layers of security to this one. I believe the base is... Yeah, the base is a hard... I think that's a hard plastic. Or is that metal? I touched my nose to it, but... I can't tell. I honestly can't tell. That's a really... It's either a very, very hard plastic, I just can't tell, or it is actually metal, and it's just painted with such a matte finish paint that it doesn't feel cold. I think it's plastic. I think that's just a really hard plastic. In fact, I'm pretty sure that is how it is constructed. All right, does it roll? Not a chance. No rolling there. We do get disc brakes behind there. So this is the first version of this I've seen with some decent looking disc brakes. Kind of wants to roll, but it's not going to. We got like a metal flake paint. Detailed interior, quite detailed, quite nice. And pretty good looking all around. We got mirrors with actual like silver paint, which is cool. Headlights that look pretty good. So kind of a cool car from IXO. So that's pretty neat. Now we do already have some pretty nice versions of this car. This is a Barago, just to show you. I've shown this a couple times now. Windows up. Barago. Decently detailed. This is a $5 model. Paint looks beautiful on this one. I've actually got two different versions. There's a white one and a red one here. The frunk opens on these two. I don't really need to open it though. I kind of wanted just to show you again, but I've shown it in a previous video and there's nothing to see under there, but it does open. Tight gaps there, so looking pretty good, right? The only difference is the wheels back here are just the same size as the front ones. They do try to give you an illusion of a disc brake in there, but it's kind of sloppy. And then you've got the Mini GT, which is actually, or not Mini GT, I apologize, BBR, which is, I think, made by Mini GT, which you have lots of detail in this one. Looks a little bit cleaner, comparing. Pretty darn close, but definitely a little bit cleaner. You get the carbon fiber weave in there. That's not something you get with this one. You do not get disc brakes, though. You don't get to see those. Interior, I would argue, is pretty evenly detailed, even though you get the harnesses in there. Actually, it's probably even more detailed on the BBR. Front end a little bit more detailed on the BBR. You got that separate little piece for the logo. And carbon fiber and stuff like that. Pretty awesome. I mean, I'm going to say all these are pretty awesome. They almost like caught my thumb on this metal logo. Or whatever material that is. Very cool, though. All right, so anyway, very cool to get it. Lots of packaging for that model, though. All right, you guys let me know what you think about this grouping of cars, and thank you very much, Jay, for providing some content for the channel. Definitely appreciated. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for the content, the cars, all that good stuff, and, of course, your friendship. I appreciate it. All right, you guys, thank you very much. Have a good day.